Do not buy Bitcoin. Do not buy crypto. I'm telling you this right now.
Today we're chatting with my dear friend Sim. Sim is one of the leading cryptocurrency experts. For the last 10 years, he helped thousands of people to understand crypto and get financially free.
We're being invited by the Vice President of Indonesia and the Ministries of Investment to teach them how to build the regulatory framework in Indonesia.
He answers a big question.
Crypto is a scam.
We discuss actionable advice, how someone can escape the rat race.
Giving you a step-by-step plan that you can build for yourself to escape the rat race that has helped over 2,000 people that have worked with me.
And as always, we have lots of fun.
Why? You're buying Bitcoin. Tell me now, huh? You're not a good boy.
Hey guys, Anatoly here. Before we continue, a quick ask. I know you're enjoying the show. I would like to bring bigger guests, and the best way you can help me is please subscribe, because it helps me to get more reach and give us all more opportunity to learn from the best in the world. I really appreciate you. Now let's go back to the show. Sim, welcome back.
It is a pleasure to be back, brother. It's never not an amazing time being here with you.
I know. It's been fourth time now. You're the most visited guest because I can't just get enough of you.
I mean, escaping the rat race takes a while.
Yes.
Right? So you got to go through the journey. So it's a pleasure.
Today, actionable steps, how to escape the rat race. Let's give people some value so they can just go and do it.
We're going to give people so much value today because, like you said, talking about escaping the rat race is one thing. But giving you a step-by-step plan that you can build for yourself to escape the rat race that has helped over 2,000 people that have worked with me. Family offices have paid $20,000 for this process. I'm going to give it to you guys for free. Just listen to this. This will be the most valuable thing you listen to for an hour and a half. I guarantee you this.
Beautiful. Well,
just, small little promise.
Pressure is on. Let's start with the baseline, right? So most people live 9 to 5, have mortgage, stressed out, but there are completely different set of people living in parallel world where nothing of this concerns them. How does that happen? Like, you help people get from one to another.
Yeah, I mean, let me explain how I did it. I was born in a tuk-tuk in India, right? Living in a mud house in a village in India. I come to America thinking I'm going to experience the greatest civilization. And at the time it was. But as I grew older and became an American, I realized what the scam is. The scam is this. The matrix is this. Wake up in the morning, go somewhere to do something you don't like, to earn something called money, spend your waking hours there, to then come back and take that money and show love to your loved ones. But the point is just to hang out with your loved ones. It's to watch your children grow. It's to spend time with your partner, spend time with your parents. For some people, spend time with themselves, doing fun stuff. But the world is set up in a way to convince you to go do this other thing for money, right? The people who figured out the game figured out a way for them to not have to go somewhere to do something to make money. It's to use your existing money to make more money. That worked really well for the baby boomer generation, right? They had an opportunity where money was easy to make. Assets went up for a long time. Our parents' generation also had the same thing. Excuse me, I've been working my ass off, so I'm a little sick, so I'm going to be sniffling. So if you hear me sniffle, my apologies. Our generations don't have that opportunity. Haven't had that opportunity. Our generations couldn't just buy a house because we would earn money, but the houses would go up in price more than we could earn.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, right? Like, our parents bought houses for $30,000, $50,000 US. That same house now is $500,000 US. Same house, same place.
And nobody can afford it.
We're not making $500,000. So the scam is that people work to earn something called money, dollars, currency. At the same time, we are in a point of history where money printing takes off at a faster rate than wages go up.
Yeah.
So all of that means that people don't have the means of escape. We're just running as fast as we can to stay in place. For me, I was making $700 checks in 2012. And then my friend brought me this thing called a white paper. I didn't even know what that was. And he's like, look at this thing. It's Bitcoin. You're worried about the banks printing money and eventually going bankrupt. This thing is a solution. I read it. As an electronics engineer, I was like, this is the future of the internet. I understood it right away. I also understood that this is the future of money. I was so broke, I did not buy any Bitcoin. I could barely buy food at the time.
Even though it costs like $5 or something.
When I started, it cost $5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, then none of us knew it was going to be like this.
Yeah.
But then this one day, one of my buddies is like, did you see what Bitcoin just did? And I'm like, what? We look at it and it's $100-something. From $5 to $100-something without looking. And it was so hard to buy and all this stuff.
How many people sold at that point?
Nobody even had it to
Yeah,
sell,
yeah.
around me at least, right?
Yeah.
What ended up happening is people actually ran in and bought it at $100-something, and then it went up to $200. We were worried about the banks collapsing. Right at around $200 in 2013, Cyprus did the bank bail-ins and took everybody's money. Exactly what we were waiting to happen happened. And we're like, Bitcoin's going to save us. You know what it did? It went from $200 to less than $100 right after the banking process happened. And we were all shocked. We're like, first of all, how did it go from 5 to 200? And how come when we thought the exact thing that happened that it was supposed to save us from, it crashed, right? So then we were like, okay, this is just a one-time thing. It's done. There's no way the governments let this new form of money exist, right?
Yeah.
They murder people for less. So we started ignoring it. We're like, okay, that was fun. We look away. 2014, the hype cycle comes back. It goes from below, I think it went from like $65 up to $1,200. And at that point, we were like, okay, this is a thing that this thing does. And then it crashed back down again. And we're like, now it has to be done. Now it has to be gone. But from that point forward, I was like, now I'm not looking away from this thing. Every time I look away, it pumps and I have no way to participate. The next time it does this, I'm going to apply my knowledge and what I've learned from these previous cycles, and I'm going to get it. So then you're watching it for years. It's going down. I started working at a call center, making decent money, started selling cell phones, a guy named Sim selling cell phones. That was funny. And then in 2017, I saw it go back up again. It went to $1,200. I didn't know what it was going to do. It went to 3,000, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put some money into it. So I put money in at 3,000, around 9,000. I sold it and tripled my money in like no time. But what I saw was in that same process of it going up, the same people had the same emotions at the same time. When it was low, nobody wanted it. When it started to go up, people started listening. When it broke past its $1,200, everybody started to buy it. I did the same. Then when it went, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000, people started to buy more and more. By the time it got to 20,000, everybody who could see it tried to buy it. And then from 20,000, it crashed back down again, right? I was smart enough to be like, I'm going to set myself a strategy. So the few years since 2014 to 2017, I was listening to the best financial experts of how they trade it. There was like no YouTube. Nobody on YouTube was talking about it. I think Data Dash was the first guy to talk about it. There was no trading view. There was no charts. There's no on-chain, no nothing. But the guy said this. They said, buy something when nobody wants it and sell something when everybody wants it. So that's basically what I did.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like it's on discount. People run away from this. People go to like stores when Black Friday happens and they buy stuff at discount. But then when stocks, let's say, or currency goes to discount, people don't buy it. I never got it.
It's because it's a different emotional game, right? So I started to then understand that emotional game.
Okay.
I took that money and I turned it into furniture because that was the next thing they said. They said, take that money and don't keep putting it back in the market. Take out your initial money and turn it into lifestyle. And I'll be honest, I bought a bunch of weed with it.
Yeah.
I spent $200,000 of my own money on weed in my whole life up to that point, and I didn't buy Bitcoin. I have furniture, Bitcoin crashes. From 2017 until 2020, I actually built my weed company because 2018 Canada legalized weed. So my investment paid out because my earning potential was deployed towards building this company. Then I had decided, I was like, at 30, I'm going to retire and go live somewhere where there's sun because I don't want to be in the rat race. And the other thing I was realizing was I was making like $80,000, $90,000 selling cell phones, but I wasn't keeping any of it.
Yeah.
Right? In Canada, you make money, you spend money. You make money, you spend money. You're running in place, a single guy running in place, making a lot of money by the world. But half of it goes to taxes. The other half that you keep is already now making you basically the bottom rung of society.
Which is something actually I want to talk about. Why are people so complacent with this? It seems like this is a huge ripoff. It seems like people feel that they're being ripped off,
Mm-hmm.
but they still do it. They keep on doing it. Why do you think that happens?
I think the two most dangerous things in the world are a paycheck and comfort.
Okay. Yeah, I guess lots of insecurities, people are afraid,
Well,
conditioning.
It's like the world is built to keep you just comfortable enough so you don't have the pain to move and do something about it and upset your whole life, but not so uncomfortable that you do something about it.
But why there's no awareness? Like, I've been in the same rat race, but I always thought something is wrong. I'm like, I cannot stand it that I don't make any decisions. Somebody's like making decisions for me. I'm getting fired, or like I build amazing software. They just hire some guy and he just fucks it up all the time. And I'm like, there's no control.
Right.
The money I make, like government take taxes no matter what. And I don't have anything.
It's because we're crazy. We're critical thinkers. Actually, 10% of the population, out of any population, is usually non-hypnotizable.
Okay.
I think it's 20-something% of the population is hypnotizable if they let themselves. A large majority of the population is actually very suggestible.
Okay.
You can hypnotize them, you can tell them something 100 times and they believe it to be true. So they're the ones who let somebody else drive. Most of the world is built to let somebody else drive.
Yeah.
And prosperity has gotten to a point in the world where we are just comfortable enough for people to be like, why? I have a job. What else am I going to do? And the way the world has been built, we have been convinced that we are not God incarnate. We are not, singular consciousness come down here and creating our own reality. We're just this little old human that's not really capable of doing anything.
Okay, I see.
Like the idea that people believe that life is happening to them.
Yeah.
That they're a leaf in the wind that's blowing.
Like there's no other choice. They believe there's no choice. It's like only lucky or scammers or people who rip people off. All those beliefs around, like if you're doing something different, you must be scamming people.
All those evil rich people. I used to think like that. All those evil rich people. That Jeff Bezos, he's the problem. Actually, Jeff Bezos just figured out how to help billions of people, so he gets paid for adding value to billions of people's lives.
As people are still, this guy donated only $1 billion. What a crook! Like, how much did you donate?
I was right there. But also, another problem that I realized, I've had the privilege of not having the influence of family. I've had the privilege of listening to YouTubers, and when I say YouTubers, I'm listening to Ray Dalio and Joe Rogan and the experts that he brings, and guys like you, and amazing minds bringing amazing concepts and quantum mechanics, physicists, to try to learn the depths of what's there to learn.
But you also traveled. I think that's another thing. For me, the traveling changes everything, because I lived in Latvia, and in Latvia you don't even think that you can be a software developer.
Exactly.
That's not a thing. You can be either a lawyer or economist. Nobody else thinks anything else. Once you go to Canada, you're like, okay, the world can be different. I understand that everything is possible. And then from there, once you experience something else, you start to look, okay, what else is there?
And you have to be crazy enough to decide, okay, I'm going to just completely change everything. I'm going to leave my life. I'm going to go to the other side of the world. For me, it was always like, Alex Hormozy said this. He's like, they tested successful people, rich and successful people. And they found that they had all different styles of getting there, but there were a few characteristics that they all shared. One was that they have a crippling insecurity of failure or not being enough. They're always cripplingly insecure about not being enough. And they have the grit to stick to something for a very long period of time and do it.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, I used to look at it as, I'm scared of mediocrity because I come from the bottom rung. So I was always like, I do not want to just live in a mud house for the rest of my life. I'll do something big. And running from that mediocrity was possible because I didn't have people around me influencing me. If my parents if I was influenced by my parents and all the people, I don't think I would have had the same kind of chance. And that in and of itself is what you get away from when you leave and go do all of these things. So now to this point, if you're listening to this and you're in that situation, know that the cards are stacked against you. It is not fair at all. So here's what I did. I would spend 8 hours working, and then I would spend the other 8 hours that I'm awake learning and focusing and learning about crypto, learning about weed, learning about technology, learning about all of this stuff. And then that's what paid off to allow me to leave Canada, right? I sold my weed company in Canada, came to Bali 2020, 6 days before COVID, because I'm crazy enough to think that, okay, they're going to shut down the world, and I believe it, and I want to be somewhere where it's going to be nice. Coming here, I saw the same thing, that there's amazing people here who have worked their ass off to escape the matrix and have the privilege of living in paradise. And I started telling people, hey, crypto's going to do that thing again. It's time. Look at it. Now I've been here for too long, and it's going to do that thing again. And people wouldn't listen. Then as it started to pump, people started to really run in and ask me, hey, how do I do this?
Yeah.
One person asked me as a friend, and I sat her down and I taught her all this stuff. She loved it so much. She was like, can I bring my friends next Wednesday? She brought her friends. They brought their friends. And then it turned into this community of people around, like wondering, how does the scam work and what do we do about it? And you said crypto was going to do this. It's happened. You said they're going to take people's money. It just took Russia's money. You clearly know something about how this whole thing works, so teach us how. The problem was, even the best people with good intentions and good hearts, even when they entered at a decent time in the market, they would make mistakes along the way and just lose all their money.
Well, mostly mistakes is selling in the wrong time, like getting afraid and just quitting.
That's literally the only way you can lose money in a market.
Yes,
right?
what I thought. Yeah, because I invest in stock market, and stock market's not the best, but since I was there for 10 years, like I invest in some nice things, they like 400%.
Right. You
I just don't sell.
well, first of all, don't buy garbage.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
Buy good stuff. That's a hard one. In crypto, it's don't give your money to anybody. That's another mistake a lot of people make. They trust somebody else and they hand them their money and they go, you manage it for me. You promise to give it back when you turn it into a lot of money. And no, you never give your money to anybody else in crypto. And then it's the patience of riding at least a 4 to 5 year cycle to get to the point of actually being able to manifest.
But don't give anybody money is like hard, because you need to buy crypto, you need to put it in I bought, I think 2 Bitcoins and put it in Quadriga CX exchange. And then I didn't even, and it was actually pretty cheap. Like I bought it right time and I wasn't planning to sell it at all, but I didn't know that you need to put it on the drive. And it just disappeared. Litigation is still there. Now I'm like $140,000 gone.
Right? So then there's more complexity to the game.
Yes.
So the gift we're gonna give you today is, what I did is I turned my teachings into a strategy that has all the steps built in there step by step that teach you how to understand yourself and know how you should be navigating this space, what to even do about it. How do you set goals in this space? How do you understand risk? How much risk is healthy for you? How much money do you put in? How much money don't you put in? What's the timeline that you have? What's the strategy of actually investing? How do you select the right stuff to buy? How much do you put into each one? What do you do when you're in the market? What do you do to get out of the market? What do you do with security? What do you do with taxes? Then what do you do, right? Having all of that as a plan from the beginning is the most important thing that I've seen for people. And every single person who did this from the last cycle, not a single person lost their money as long as they followed the plan. Now I'm getting those calls. My hypnotherapist called me the other day and he was like, Sim, I don't know how to say this. I was like, what's up? He's like, I followed it and now I have 4 to 5 times as much money as I've ever seen in my account. And I'm freaking out. I don't know if to sell it. I'm nervous. I'm having luxury problems. And I'm getting these calls constantly. People who've stuck in the game, people who follow this plan. So what I did now, people paid me thousands of dollars to do this eventually. Family offices paid me over $20,000. Now governments are paying me unnamed numbers to do this. I'm giving this plan away for free only to the people that I know are doing good for the world, like the listeners of this podcast, good souls. We're going to give you access to a video. The video is all my secrets, all my little tips and tricks that blew people's minds, distilled down to an 1.5-hour video with a free gift, which is the actual strategy booklet, where you can fill it out for yourself with the guidance. You can build your own plan. You'll be protected from all of this. You won't be able to lose your money in Quadriga CX or exchanges. You'll be protected from all the things. You can build your own plan. You can invest yourself. I produce free content to give you access to thousands of dollars, over $40,000 of paid data that you can't afford. I give it on YouTube for free, and you can follow along and you can do this for yourself without paying a single penny. All I ask is you give away 10% of the money that you make to whatever you like. If you make $10, give away $1. And then when you make $1 million, you'll give away $100,000. That's all I ask. And on top of that, you, sir, are doing God's work.
All right.
So for you, I'm giving you this offer that this process is built in a way where you can take it, you can use it for free, you can build your own plan, you don't have to pay a penny. If you choose to work with me, it's $3,000 to work with me. If anybody signs up for that, we give a donation back to Soul to Soul podcast, and that's going to be deployed somewhere doing good for the world.
Beautiful.
And then we'll come back and just keep helping people escape the matrix.
That's very generous.
Let's go back to that conversation. How does this process help people escape the matrix?
Yes. But before we do, I still have a question. I did a podcast with Rich Robinson because he's a tech visionary on Web3. And all those comments, I was like, we didn't even talk about crypto, but people have this trigger about crypto being scam. And no matter if you just say the word crypto anywhere, if you say I have an amazing offer, anything, people start screaming scam from the top of their lungs. I know you very well. I know that you are the opposite of scam. So I want to understand. You probably heard that many times in your realm as well. So before we go to rat race, maybe a few sentences. Why are people so afraid of this? Why are people screaming scam? Like, what's wrong?
Because it is a scam.
Okay.
Crypto is a scam. Today, the cryptos that exist, out of like 20,000, now it's probably 30,000 that exist. They're just new ones being made up every day.
Yep.
90% of them are actual scams. 90% of them are things you don't understand, fugazi ideas made up to convince you to put your money in, and they will take your money and they'll run away. So it is a scam. If you have to throw a dart at a wall, you're going to hit a scam in crypto. That's why people should be scared of it.
Okay.
10% of the cryptos that are out there, about 2,000 cryptos, are the projects that are building the base layer of the next stage of the internet.
Yeah.
So people don't have that understanding. So it's logical for people to just assume it's a scam. And it's smart that you assume it's a scam. Do not put your money into crypto without understanding what you're buying. That's what I teach in the first place. Because 90% of people lose their money in crypto.
Yeah.
10% of people make all that money in crypto, right?
I never thought that Bitcoin is a scam. I understood that I should have taken out my money and put them in a safe space, taken up my Bitcoin and put in a safe space. Bitcoin is not a problem. The problem is where I put the money, where I kept the money, that I did not understand how it all works. And it was a long time ago when nobody understood how it all works. Oh, there's an easy way to buy Bitcoin? Okay, I bought a Bitcoin. And it sounded good, but it wasn't.
And even now, people don't know how it works. People have Bitcoin, and I go, what is it? Why do you buy it? And they go, oh, because it's limited supply and people can't print it. And I'm like, what does it do? What does it do? And they're like, what do you mean, what does it do? Like, where's the coin? Where is it?
Yeah.
Do you even understand where it is? It's when it's in a wallet, where is it? It's not on a little USB key. People think you put it on the USB key. It's not on the key.
Yeah, it's on the blockchain.
It's on the blockchain. What does that mean? What the hell's a blockchain?
Yeah.
Right? And so we're buying these things to put our money somewhere safe, but we don't even know where it is. We don't even know what it's in. Even if you say it's in Bitcoin, what does Bitcoin do?
I like this Indian accent.
What does Bitcoin do? Why? You're buying Bitcoin. Tell me now, huh? You're not a good boy, right? So let me explain. Why does everybody want these things? Let's just imagine Bitcoin. Why do we want Bitcoin? One, yes, it is rare, but here's the actual functionality of it. What Bitcoin is a bunch of physical computers that are running all across the world. There's millions of people running these computers. These computers are running a calculation on them. They're just wasting a bunch of energy running this calculation. And once in a while, one of the computers solves a calculation and a Bitcoin pops out. That's already getting too complicated. Forget about all that. It's a computer that's running calculations. But on this computer, there's a accounting book called the ledger running. Every computer is running the same accounting book. Inside of that accounting book is an entry that says, you have this many Bitcoin, I have this many Bitcoin. So these computers are accounting books that are running across the world. We're running millions of them. So nobody can go in and change a number in one without all the other computers saying, that's wrong. We know how many Bitcoins each person has. Okay? The coin itself, when you have a ledger entry that says, I have 1 Bitcoin, what I can do with that Bitcoin is I can pay somebody to move that Bitcoin to another account. That's the only thing it does, right? Because people are running computers.
Yeah.
People like me. They're paying for the computer, they're paying for the cooling, they're paying for the electricity. We got to pay them somehow for running that network. So when I want to send you Bitcoin, I ask their computer and I go, hey, change the entry and I will legitimately send a Bitcoin to Anatoly. And the computers go, well, then give us a little bit of Bitcoin so we can pay for the electricity and all this stuff. And we'll all change the entry to allow you to send 1 Bitcoin to Anatoly. So those computers are getting paid with this coin. This coin pays for the usage of that computer. Why do I want to use that computer then? If you think about it, your money is simply in a accounting book with the bank.
Yeah.
Right? The bank is an accounting book.
That's what's surprising me, how people don't understand that the things they see on a screen in their bank account is like, they think this is not a scam. I mean, they haven't tried to withdraw bigger sums of money. Then they would realize that none of the banks will give you that because they don't have it.
So here's how the banking system works. Okay? All these banks have accounting books that keep track of how much money they have. Those accounting books are running on servers that are SQL servers, another computer that's just running an accounting book on there. A lot of these computers run on a messaging coding language called COBOL that was invented in the 60s.
Yeah.
It's ancient.
I know COBOL. Yeah.
It's ancient, but they're running these accounting books on this ancient computers. Now, the bank runs the accounting book. If my bank wants to send you the money, your bank the money, just to change the ledger entry, I got to pay my bank a fee. First of all, I got to beg my bank to send you the money.
Yeah.
Like, send them $1 million. Why? Why? That's my money. No, it's not. The accounting book doesn't say that you have that much money sitting there. The accounting book actually says, we promise that at some point we'll give you the money back if we have it, and then you can send it. That's why when you go send $1 million, they go, why do you want to send it? They're like,
Yeah.
It's my money. They're like, no, it's not. That it's our money. One, we don't have it. We got to sell a bunch of assets to send it, then pay us a fee. So we can ask another bank to change their accounting book so that Anatoly's bank can change their accounting book. It's going to take us 5 days to change the accounting books. And actually, in reality, we don't even have it. That's why.
That's how economic crisis happened in 2008, when everybody realized, well, there's no money.
That's how it always happens. 1930s, they had gold. And gold, they were like, we have the gold. Don't worry, we'll send it. When people checked, there's no gold. 1971, America was like holding the world's gold. And they're like, don't worry, we'll give you the gold back. Countries would like, give us the gold back. America, to the entire world, pulled out a gun and went, we're not giving you your gold back. There's not enough gold.
Yeah.
It's the same scam that runs again and again. So this computer system that we're talking about, the Bitcoin computer system, they always have it, right? There is no making you, the computer doesn't make you a promise saying, don't worry, we'll give you the Bitcoin back. And it goes, oops, sorry, I invested it into some scam somewhere. We can all see it. We can all check what the computer does, and the computer is coded perfectly so nobody can mess with it. Therefore, a government can go into a bank and change the number in the account and just give the bank a bunch of money. With Bitcoin, you can't do that. We know how many there are. We know how many are popping into existence through the mining process. We know who's holding how much, and we know it's getting more and more limited, right? Now, here's another thing. You ever think about who creates the money? When I ask you the question, you're probably a smart viewer, right? Who makes the money? And you're like, I know, central banks make the money. No, they don't. Actually, the vast majority of money is not made by central banks. Yes, central banks are asked to issue currency into the system. And they do that. The Federal Reserve just goes into their computer. A guy literally types in a number into the computer and hits enter, and trillions of dollars pops up.
They don't even print it anymore. They just put it in
They
the
don't
system.
print it, but they do type in the number.
Yeah.
But actually, that typing in of the number by the central bank isn't the vast majority of money that gets created. The vast majority of so they take that money and they give it to the private banks, and they go, here's $1 trillion. The banks have had a fractional reserve currency system where they could hold 1% of the money and they could issue 99% against it. Used to be $9 against it. Used to be $9 against each dollar. Now it's basically they can issue as much money against that amount of money that they have.
Crazy.
Which means the central bank prints some money, gives it to the bank, and then when you go to the bank and you ask for a loan from the bank just goes into their computer and types in a number and hits enter, and voila, over 90% of the money in the world pops into existence in the private banks, and they give it to you, and then they go, pay us back with interest on top. But it's like, but you just made up all this money. You want me to give you back more money than what you made? If this is blowing your mind, this is how the scam already works on you.
But people are like, no, Sim, this cannot be true. But I see my money in a bank. This cannot be true.
Go to thegreattaking.com.
That's a great name.
thegreattaking.com. I don't have an affiliate code. It is a book written by a ex-hedge fund manager. He had a near-death experience, and God told him that he needs to tell the world exactly what I'm about to tell you. Watch the documentary, read the book. In that book, he shows you the exact legal framework, including the laws that have made it legal for all of your assets to be confiscated legally. Here's the simple gist of it, as simple as I can make it, okay? Every single time in history, when governments and empires take somebody's money, what ends up happening is there's a bunch of actual value, like gold, right? That's sitting somewhere. That gold is used to create a bunch of loans against it. And they lend out all this money against this gold. Eventually, when people want their gold back, there isn't enough gold against how many loans have been given out. So in the end, the place goes bankrupt. In the 1930s, the US just made it illegal to hold gold and just took all the gold from the banks and went, we're not giving anybody your gold back because we don't have enough gold. In 1971, the US dollar was backed by gold, which means the loan of the US dollar was given out backed by how much gold they had. They gave out too many loans as the US dollar. When everybody wanted their US dollars to convert it into gold, they told the countries, we don't have it.
Why do they keep on fucking us up? What's the problem? Why not to be fair?
Hear this. This time around, the collateral, the gold, is not gold anymore. It's your stocks, your bonds. If you have real estate and you have a mortgage on it, then your mortgage is the collateral. Your business has a loan, then your business is the collateral. Your land is the collateral. All these things are the collateral. If you take all the collateral in the world and look at how many, it's called derivatives, okay? What you do is you take all these assets and you create a financial asset that is effectively backed by the collateral of the stocks and the bonds and all this stuff. That's what derivatives are. They're just fugazi bets that the wealthy have made using the value of our stocks, our assets, our stuff. The value of those bets is orders of magnitude higher. I don't want to say orders of magnitude, an order of magnitude higher than the value of the assets themselves, which means when this whole Ponzi scheme unwinds, which it's about to happen within the next 4 years, by the way, okay? When this unwinds, the laws have been changed globally to make it legal for them to take all of that collateral to pay the people who it's owed to, which means your stocks, your bonds, your mortgaged assets, your real estate, all of the assets that you think you own, which you don't, will be taken and given to the person who actually is owed those assets. And if you think you're like, this can't be true, don't pause this, watch this to the end. Go to thegreattaking.com, Look it up yourself. Look at the laws. Read through them. He released this and the fund managers went crazy. The financial world went crazy. The European Union excuse me, contacted the Federal Reserve and said, is this true? Do these laws allow all of the stocks of the US to be taken and all of the stocks of Europe to be taken and all of the bonds to be taken? They confirmed, yes, it is legal. And by the end of 2023, the banks ran simulations confirming that they've set up the rails globally for this collateral to be transferred globally instantaneously when this happens to protect the banking system. That's what's about to happen. If you're like, Sim, you lost me 40 minutes ago, here's the simple gist of it. Anything you don't have custody of or wholly owned version of is not yours. And pretty soon, you will own nothing. And then apparently you'll be happy. And the money in your bank, gone. Stocks, gone. All this stuff, gone.
Yeah, but then a bunch of businesses collapse. Bunch of what's gonna happen? Mayhem.
World War III. I did historical. I couldn't even believe this for a long time, right? Being a conspiracy guy the way I am, I always came in with the idea that I'm going to disprove things. I'm not just going to believe it. I'm going to disprove it. I did a historical analysis for like over a year of cycles that are playing out in history. And this cycle plays out on a very regular basis, about an 82-year cycle, 84-year cycle, where the collapse happens, then a new system is built, the new system runs, eventually too much debt gets generated into the system. It's called one cycle is a long-term debt cycle. Learn that. That cycle is where debt gets generated to a point and eventually somebody's got to pay the debt. And the way the debt gets paid is you inflate the currencies the way that you're doing now and you are able to pay the debt, but the people who are holding the currencies lose out. Second is the financial institutional cycle, which is 1945, the Bretton Woods dollar system was created. 80 years later is 2025. That's when the next system gets created. There's a 250-year revolutionary cycle. There's a decentralization, centralization cycle. All these cycles are coming to a T. When all these cycles come to a crux and they switch, there's only one thing that's ever happened in history: war. The last time was World War II. This time around, it's going to be World War VII. And this time around, it's being called a fifth generational war. Okay? Other than that, it's going to be fine.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's problem. They're going to take all your shit. I can't make money. I can't buy assets. These are all problems. Everybody talks about this.
So what about the guy who is watching us, or a girl who is like, okay, I'm right now in the United States, a bunch of mortgages. I don't want to hear that. It's triggering me, but I need to get out. I need to get out of this. I need to figure out what can I do, small things I can do today to protect myself against, even if you believe in that or not. Like, A, you want to escape, and B, you want to have some protection, some insurance in case something like that happens.
Action steps.
Yeah.
Own and custody your assets.
So buy land. Don't get mortgage on it.
Right. If you have a little bit of a mortgage left, pay it off. Make sure the bank isn't holding the mortgage on it. No liens against your property. Be in a jurisdiction where hopefully they let you keep it. Because the Russians bought a lot of land across the world wholly with their own money. And then one day they just went, sorry, you're Russian.
Yeah. And if people are saying, oh, it's just because they're oligarchs or something like that will happen to anybody. That will happen to this is just a test.
The vast majority of Russians are not oligarchs. They're my friends. Okay, they're people. And I remember saying this, hey, they're going to take your money. They're going to take your money. They're going to take your money. When the Russians' money got took, I went back to the people and I went, see, they took the Russians' money. And the response was, yeah, but they're Russian. And I was like, she's Russian. He's Russian. Like, is that Putin? You know?
Yeah.
No, these are people. And if you don't think it's going to happen to you, okay, it's up to you. You make your decision. Here's action steps. Self-custody assets. Okay? Secondly, that's what crypto is. That's why for us, we're like, not only is this whole process playing out, remember I said a new paradigm gets built in this process, that the cycle ends and a new cycle begins. People are focused on the old cycles ending. I'm focused on the new cycles beginning, right? The new cycle is where you can take your money and you can take it out of any country and you can put it into your own pocket. You can put it into your own mind, let's say, with Bitcoin. Which country is Bitcoin from? No country. It's beyond countries. It's everywhere.
And it's a beauty, right? If you have a lot of Bitcoin, you can just go across the border, 17 or 13 phrases, whatever the seed phrase is, you put the seed phrase in, your money is anywhere. You can go and get
exactly
a bag of cash wherever you are.
So I can take my money and I can hold it. I can hold it on a USB key. I can hold it on a password. There's 1,000 ways to hold it. So self-custodying your money is really, really important in that. It's not like I just buy Bitcoin and hold that. I take my dollars, I turn it into USDC on the Ethereum chain called ERC20 USDC. Stick with me here. It's still English. And I hold my dollars. And I can go to any country and I can pull out my dollars and put them in the bank account and I can buy stuff with it the same. But I'm holding them. It's not some bank promising me that they're going to give it back to me. Now, that the cyclical shift that's happening, what's the new cycle that's beginning? The new cycle is a world where God-level intelligence is free.
Okay.
Did you notice we just invented God-level intelligence? I don't know if you guys noticed. Some people call it ChatGPT right now. Some people call it Claude 3. Pretty soon we have the smartest mind, wisdom has been created and made basically free. Okay? The new world is technology where human genius becomes free. Robots are going to make human bodies almost free. Once you've built the robot, it's almost free to run it. The locational blockages we've had, well, I'm in this country, I can only earn this much money, is going away. You can be in any country you want and you can operate on the other side. So locational freedom is part of it. You're becoming free in that way. The Apple headset is the first semblance of the metaverse where I can have villas for free, I can have Ferraris for free, I can fly around like a dragon for free, I can have a Russian girlfriend for free. I can have a Russian girlfriend that is God-level intelligence genius, and the headset has blood sensors that sense where blood's going in your brain. It has electronic sensors, electrical sensors to sense brain activity. It has pulse. It has pupil sensors, so it can tell what my pupils are dilating and where I'm looking. It has skin conductance sensors, which is like a polygraph on your face. So it knows everything about what you're thinking, where you're looking, everything. Plus it can make me hallucinate a reality, so I can have all of these things for free. I can have a universe for free.
Yeah.
That's the world we're going into. Okay. That world looks nothing like this world. That's why people they can't understand. They're like, where are these coins? They're in that world. In that world, if everything is free like that, the people who have these coins are the ones who have the wealth to do something in the digital world. That's why our art is digital. We don't care about physical art anymore, because in that hallucination, I need art. Our coins are digital. Our money is becoming digital. Our Russian girlfriends are becoming digital.
That's a problem.
That's
a big problem.
That's a huge
Let's
problem.
keep Russian girlfriends.
That's what. Now. Here's a mind blower I just thought about. Right. Sora, the AI, can generate already a photorealistic reality live. It can generate photorealistic videos live.
Yeah.
On call.
Yeah.
You put that into the headset, and tell it to generate a photorealistic reality for me live.
So you're going to think about things that's going to appear like it's whatever you're thinking, you can visualize it right away.
Photorealistic.
It's fucking crazy. So back to rat race. So you need to own assets, land and crypto. What else can I do? Like how?
Learn what I just said. If all of this doesn't make sense to you,
yeah,
learn about that world. Start to participate in that world. My thing is, one of the biggest asset, the single biggest asset that I've ever had, that nobody can take from me, is my wisdom, my skills, my knowledge, my earning capacity. Me.
Yeah.
I can take it to any country. They can't extract it. Nobody can take it. It only grows in value as long as I invest in myself.
I agree. But how can somebody who has been taught that, well, you just need to learn to do your job and that's it, how can you sort of shift yourself and where do you start, right? I mean, it's just not like I go to a library and, okay, I'm just gonna get a book and I'm gonna be Sim Khela. No, it's something else, right? So you,
Work 8 hours a day.
yeah,
Spend the other 8 hours learning something. And if you're like, how? Go to this website. It's called ChatGPT. And ask it anything you want. Okay? And here's how you ask. Whatever you need done, you go, I want you to act as a XYZ expert.
yeah,
Right? Let's say I want to learn about crypto in this case, right? I would go, I want you to act as a world-class crypto expert that explains to beginners what crypto is. I want you to explain to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, what Bitcoin is. I want you to explain to me how to buy it without losing all my money. I want you to explain to me which exchanges I can go to, what I can do, da 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 da. Or I want you to explain, I love making art. I want you to explain to me how I can set up a business making art. I want to set up a digital nomad. I heard this digital nomad thing is hot. I want you to act as a world-class digital nomad expert, and I want you to give me a step-by-step breakdown of how I can become a digital nomad. I'm 50 years old. I don't know technology. I hate all this shit. I want the simplest way for me to make $2,000 a month.
yeah.
I want you to be my coach and guide me all along the way. Anytime you have any question, you just take it back to your coach and you give it to your coach, and this genius will tell you how to do everything. 12-year-olds are doing this.
Yeah.
Do you realize that? 12-year-olds nowadays are smarter than the 80-year-olds because they just know how to do this process.
Yeah. I guess one thing that people might be asking, okay, let's say I start buying crypto, I start doing all this.
First of all, don't buy crypto. Right now, it's March 11th.
Yes.
We never know what date it is in Bali, by the way. We don't know what day it is. March, whatever it is right now, do not buy Bitcoin. Do not buy crypto. I'm telling you this right now.
Why?
Everybody wants it right now. When CNBC, when BBC, when CNN start telling grandma to buy crypto, you don't buy crypto. Okay? There's seasons to buy crypto. The time to buy crypto was last year.
Do you sell crypto at that point?
Build your strategy. Okay?
But do you, as a crypto
Me,
aficionado, do you sell crypto?
bro, I sell the shit out of it.
Okay.
I'm probably going to sell everything right now
Why?
because there's profit. There's so much profit there right now.
But what are you gonna do with it? Well, like,
Wait.
where are you gonna invest it?
Wait for it to crash and then buy it again.
Okay.
Right? Let me give a nuanced answer to this. The crypto cycle is a long cycle. It's about 2.5, 3 years up and about a year to a year and a half down. Okay? We are at the beginning of the up cycle. It's called the bull market, right? Bull market. We're at the beginning of the bull market. Yes. But the way that it's playing out right now, where it's gone from 15,000 straight to 70,000, just hit 70,000 last night, that's not normal. It's not just going to go from 70,000 to a bajillion fulfillion dollars from here. It's gone there. Now CNBC is telling all the beginners to run in. Grandma wants to sell her house and buy it. Soon as we get to that point of psychology, I sell it.
Yeah.
Sadly,
It's not a financial advice, but
yeah. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I've come here with the gift that I've come here with. I've genuinely come here with the plan that makes you self-sufficient. Okay? Like, go through that process, build your own plan. I teach you the psychology, and I teach you how to learn for yourself. And then you will understand the scam that I'm talking about. And then you'll see that, like, right now things are up. Remember, we don't buy things when they raise the prices. They will crash. In the crash, probably a few months down the road, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know. I don't have my crystal ball today.
too bad.
It'll be way cheaper than it is today. Then I buy it.
Yeah.
By that time, I've built my plan. I'm not running in like a sheep to get slaughtered. So please don't buy it today. Probably when this podcast launches, still don't buy it. Then the hype is going to be even harder, where meme coins are pumping. 12-year-olds look like they're getting rich. Don't buy it now. Build your plan for free. Don't ever pay any of us a penny. Just don't lose all of your money, and another opportunity will come for you to actually buy.
Yeah, I think that's the worst. There's so many of those meme coins that means nothing, but they make news. So a lot of people start buying them because they're cheaper. Nobody thinks like, I don't want to put, I don't know, $5,000 into Bitcoin. I can put so much in like some meme coin and make billions of dollars, and that's where you lose all your money. I think that's the biggest scam out of all the crypto stuff.
The money scam, the investment scam is always the same in every asset class.
Yeah.
Get somebody who doesn't know what they're buying to buy the thing they don't know.
Yeah.
And the guy who knows what that thing is takes all your money.
Yeah.
So if you buy something and you can't explain to me what it does and where the money comes from, you're going to lose all your money.
Beautiful. But your the document and your video are going to explain, I guess, what are some of the criteria to buy.
It's a step-by-step plan of exactly how to not lose your money.
Awesome. I need to.
It's not here to make. It's not a. I call it. I'm like. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah.
It's a don't get poor quick scheme.
Yeah.
It's a get wealthy slowly scheme.
Awesome. The one thing that is interesting to me is the government is looking at this. So people are buying those coins. They want people to pay taxes. So they will do everything they can to squeeze the last Bitcoin from you. So how do you navigate that?
That's an interesting question, because the way I'm navigating is we're being invited by the vice president of Indonesia and the ministries of investment and all those guys to teach them how to build the regulatory framework in Indonesia so that it's fair. Okay, that's how I'm navigating it. Because I'm like, if that's going to happen, Indonesia is one of the biggest countries and they actually are the smartest country as far as I'm concerned. Let's build the framework in our country in a way that allows it to happen in a fair way.
Yeah.
To really answer your question, it's called blockchain. It's built to block you and chain you. So whichever country, whatever taxes they want, they're going to take it. So you choose which country you want to be beholden to.
Yeah. So it's more like always. It's like where's your residency?
It's tax residency.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm an American.
Yeah.
I have the
You're the unluckiest one.
I have the curse of wherever I live, I have to pay taxes, 40% taxes on stuff.
Can you just give your passport away and say, I'm not American anymore?
I'm gonna.
Canada doesn't do it.
Canada, no, only Eritrea and US do it.
Yeah, because they just want to.
And so now, whenever I go anywhere in the world, they ask me, "Are you American?" I go, "Yes." And most of the time, they don't want to work with me. Banks don't want to work with me. Exchanges don't want to work with me. And so I asked them, I was like, "What's the list of countries you don't work with?" They said, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and the US.
Sounds about right.
That's the list now. You're on the Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, US list. What do they all have in common? They're dictatorships. They're tyrannies. So choose which country you want to live within.
Nothing against US.
Nothing against the US. I love America. Greatest? No. Not at all.
Oh my God.
Why would we move to Bali if it was anything great?
Yeah. So you still have to abide by the tax law of the country, but your residency matters, and that's why you need to be able to be flexible. That's why working online. And
yeah. So let me actually this was a joke that I'm saying. I'm an American citizen. America is still one of the best countries in the world. There's a lot of shittier places you can be in. Even within America, there's good places and shitty places, depending on who you are. It's not America's fault. It's not Americans' fault, okay? It's just a function of the cyclicality and seasonality of humanity. When I got to America, it was 1999. It was the greatest place to be. California, there was not a better place in the world to be, okay? Everybody was rich. Everybody was hanging out, surfing. It's great. 20 years later, 25 years later, history has moved on. U.S. is now on the downtrend of its empire. So you want to learn something? Watch the Changing World Order video by Ray Dalio. Gives you a beautiful explanation of how all of this happens and where the U.S. is in that process. It also gives you a clear understanding of which jurisdictions and which countries are on their way up.
Yep.
And where you can go. Even if you're in the U.S. If you're in Nevada, your taxes are way lower. If you're in Texas, you had a lot more freedom during COVID. If you're in California, you might have a lot more opportunity to enter tech. So you choose how you want your life to be. All I'm saying is this. That whole world, our entire world, is built on this old world way of thinking, physical reality. Yet the digital world has taken all the value now, right? Learn how to enter into this digital space. Learn how to work within it. Learn how to use it to live wherever you want. At the least, learn how to take the money out of the bank or wherever you have it and actually put it into your own pocket.
Yeah, the problem is that if they're not gonna get you for your taxes, they'll figure out the way how to influence your life. They can cancel your travel, put you in some lists. They can cancel you on the platforms where you post your information. There's a lot of ways, like because everything is so centralized in the United States, and because they have such a big control, if they really want to get into you, it's very very easy, assuming that your presence is everywhere.
Yeah, but also not really. Like, there's hundreds of millions of Americans that are doing stuff that they can't catch. They don't come after because they don't have the bandwidth, right?
Yes.
There's just billions of us, right?
Yeah.
So we just like look at Indonesia. Did you know 90% of Indonesians don't have a tax number?
Yeah,
And the country runs great.
which is crazy.
It's way better than the US.
Yeah.
We can drive on sidewalks. We can
How do
ski.
they pay taxes here?
Businesses pay. They
So
charge business activities.
there's no people don't pay their income tax.
People don't even have the number to pay it.
Yeah, and
9 out of 10 people.
and government is okay with that,
Yeah.
and it's like a 300 million.
Because here it's like, what is the government? It's the people, right?
Yeah,
Like these countries, you can't piss the people off. In the countries like Canada, let's say, the people became subdued to all the stuff the government was giving us. I lived in Canada for 15 years, right? And it's such an epic country, beautiful country. Government gave you everything.
yeah, one of my favorite.
It's one of the top was one of the top countries in the world. Australia was one of the top countries in the world. Germany was one of the top countries in the world because the government gave you everything and said, just follow our laws and we'll take care of you. And for 80 years, it worked amazing. And then one day they were like, oh yeah, there's a new law. Stay inside.
Yeah,
Do not go outside. Lock your house. Shut down your business. Don't leave. Don't hug grandma. Stay inside. It's for your own good. And in those countries, people went, well, your track record is great, so we're going to follow. In countries like this, they were like, listen, we don't follow your laws in the first place anyway.
yeah,
Lock our house down. No, I got to feed my kids. I got to go tend to my fields. So if I die, I die. Let me die. Okay? If I die from COVID, I die. But I got to tend my field, and you're not going to stop me.
I like the change to this Indian accent.
Don't stop me, you know? In India, they were like breaking people's legs and people were still going outside.
Wow.
So the point is, the entire dynamic of how reality works completely shifted from 2008 onwards, but to 2020, completely shifted. The places that you thought were safe became the most tyrannical. The places that you thought were run by cartels became the freest. The people who were crazy enough to believe that the world was going to be shut down one day and they're building bunkers became the smart ones and moved to Bali. And the people who were like, you're a crazy tinfoil hat man, got stuck inside of their homes.
But was it? I mean, the interesting part is, was it always a scam that nobody realized it was until the shit hits the fan, or something really shifted?
The thing is, it's not even a scam, man. Like, we call it a scam. It's not a scam. Like, this scam called dollars made 80% of the world's population come out of poverty.
Yes.
It dropped child death rates down to insignificant numbers. It's created the largest human population that is the wealthiest globally. In China, it took 300 million people out from abject poverty out in 15 years. We're sitting here blessed because of it. It took a child from a mud house and put him next to the president, right? It's not a scam. It's just how the world has worked. This is always the case. Every time in history, we need the world to work.
Yeah.
And so it was working. The people who understood how it works used it. And the
Yeah.
people who didn't care enough to use it or understand it got used.
Yeah, I guess there's a loophole in like 2008. I'm talking more about 2008 more than a COVID.
Well, 2008, you could coming from miles away. You could see it coming from miles away, right? Because if you just zoom out on history, there was a book written called The Fourth Turning. Please read it. Now there's a new one called The Fourth Turning is Here that he wrote. It was written in 1997, before the internet got deployed. It said everything would happen like this. All it did is historical analysis of how it's happened before. So 2008, it said around 2005 there will be the beginning of the fourth turning, which is a crisis point.
Yeah.
So 2008 was just perfectly timed to be the time for this currency hyperinflation to start. The long-term debt cycle ended in 2008. And on the other side is this currencies hyperinflate, debt goes down, interest rates start to go up. That's basically what's happened. So this is just a season of history. It's happened before. Go back and watch it and learn about it. If not, I'll do a talk about it again. I did a talk last time. People loved it. I'm going to go back and refresh it and explain to people how it all works.
Yeah.
So if you understand those cycles, you realize it's like, is a storm a scam?
No.
It's a storm.
Yeah.
It thunders and it rains on you, and sometimes it knocks you off of your bike. But if you know it to be a storm, then you know it's a storm.
To me, more when I talk about a scam, it's like there's lies, right? So there's a certain amount of lies that are acceptable. Like the economy works a certain way. I understand that for governments it's very hard to keep everything balancing. It's like a very complex mechanism. But at one point you realize, okay, something is not working and we need to make a choice. Can we just say, okay, guys, we need to change the system, or we just start manipulating the system in a way that to keep it balancing, and you know that one point is going to crash. So for me, more of this logic of lying to people and keep on propagating that, and then bailing out the other people who really was part of all of this. To me, that's like a one big scam. And I understand it's hard to do. Like once everything is crashing,
Yep.
what can you do now? Now you have to do something, otherwise it's going to war, or there's like everything is.
So that's where I
falling
believe
apart.
both of these things, right? I'm the conspiracy theorist that has been yelling from the rooftops that it's a scam and teaching people how the scam works. At the same time, I'm also able to understand, okay, well, partially the scam is this reality is a scam. The world is a scam, right? So yes, where I start to get triggered, I don't like that word, by the way, where I start to get emotionally activated around this whole scam is that the scam is those lies. Is the telling you you're buying the stock but you don't own the stock, telling you have money in the bank but you don't have the money in the bank, telling you that your kid should go to school but your kid, schools make your kids dumb, telling you this food is healthy yet it's poison, telling you this is medicine yet it is poisonous.
Yeah, changing the history books, all this kind of
everything, right? So to answer your question, what do? We build a new system. The great thing is it's being built in front of you as we speak. The system is building itself. That's why I'm saying God level intelligence at your service. Infinite number of physical bodies to do work called robots at your service. Infinite levels of computing speeds coming up, quantum computing at your service. Money that if you just know what's going on and you click one button, you buy it at 0.8 of a penny and it goes to $70,000. 100 million% growth at your service. So like the new system is already being built out. It's guys like me that are going out to the governments and are going, hey, the farmers are suffering. Let's build a system that uses this digital technology to make sure that the farmers are paid fairly. Let's use a system that allows nature to be protected in a way that people are paid money to protect nature.
Yeah.
Right? Those are the systems that we're building going forward. They just won't make sense to people. This has been my whole life that 10 years ago I was talking about all of this stuff and people just were like, you're a kook. I'm telling you these things today that we're about to transition into the next stage within the next 10 years where we will live in an infinite number of hallucinated realities with artificially intelligent beings, and money as a concept will not make sense. Economy as a concept will not make sense. And get ready for that world and get into that world. Because on the other side of that world, on the other side of 2030, from 2030 to like 2050, is the 1960s sex, drugs, and love revolution coming back.
Okay.
Is the most prosperous, the most beautiful, the most knowledge-filled time, wisdom-filled, love-filled world you can imagine. Like sheer, utter magic is on the other side.
I had a guy here who builds AI avatars. His whole thing, he builds AI avatars from celebrities. And I'm like, I'm scared of that. Everything is going to go digital. And I find that as soon as everything goes digital, my intuition is go more to the nature.
Yeah.
But I'm like, people are conditioned right now. because it's not their fault, because they see all those images and it's very hard not to be conditioned when your livelihood depends on many things. But now when you put your glasses on or when you put your chip on you, like now that's it. Like somebody was telling me,
Yep.
what if you don't pay your debts and they will disable your limbs? They're like, okay,
Yeah.
you cannot walk anymore
Yeah.
until you pay your debts.
Like that Black Mirror episode where they can block you from all of society and
Yeah.
all of society can't see you anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, in the art of having two competing beliefs and believing both to be true, and not just believing them, we're doing stuff. So yes, we're going into crypto. Yes, we're building the AIs. Yes, we're tokenizing the world. At the same time, how has the farm been?
Yeah, amazing.
We have a farm.
Yeah.
We have, like, with terrible internet, almost no internet, in the middle of the hills of Bali with our own food, our own ducks, our cows and chickens, you, me, amazing people hanging out. What are the conversations we have there? We sit there and we go, that whole thing's a scam.
Yes.
So that's another thing. If you do have the means, build your own places in nature. Get away from all of this stuff. Build the exit door so that when and if they try to force that headset onto your head, you have an exit place. Me, I'll spend a lot of my time in nature and in the farm, and I will spend some of my time in this virtual reality making it happen. Because I'm not of the belief that I fight by stopping one thing.
Yeah.
My resistance in this process is to create a new way. And the new way I see is to leverage all of this capability. Because you tell me that I have God in my pocket now, I have the greatest expert in my pocket, I don't get scared of it. I go, great, I want to be at the front of it.
Yeah.
And the day it starts to make me dumb, which it's already started to do in a decent way, right? That's why I'm as dumb as I am. I at the same time, we start to build the farms to make sure we have that exit door. And our children are raised with their feet in the dirt, with their hands in the dirt. They know how to grow their own food. They know how the springs work. They know what a chicken looks like when it dies before they just willy-nilly eat it, right?
Yeah.
They live the real life. So basically the loop is completing and I'm going back to my mud house. But at the same time, on the other side, we're moving into this hyper-realistic hallucination.
I have huge respect for companies. Like I'm this conspiracy theories. I do agree with what you're saying because I see what's happening. So I don't really think it's a conspiracy. I think it's just a reality, sad reality of things. But I'm also very excited. I'm a technologist. I build software. I love software. I want to buy. I'll probably buy this Apple Vision Pro and put it on my head. But on the other end, yes, I have kids. So for me, that's a little bit of a fear. I think they're already raised here in this environment, allows them to be free and to make choices. They don't watch TV a lot. They spend time outside. They don't wear shoes. A lot of good things. But it's very easy, especially when you're young, to get swayed in a certain direction. And then conditioning in things like that, where you can see when you can distinguish reality from reality, it's
gone.
very dangerous. So I'm more worried about them than about myself. But I also want them to experience it. Why not?
Yeah, and that's where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yes.
I could go in the woods and just live by myself, but am I going to damn my kids to be force them to live in the woods? And maybe they're the people who are like, you screwed us over by disconnecting us from society and taking all the potential from us.
Yeah.
I think that's where there's a happy medium to be had. One perspective to take. Everything in life is about perspective, right? I can take the perspective it's a scam and believe that to be true. I can also take the opposite perspective and go, it's not a scam, and in many ways that's true. So let's take this perspective. The world became so prosperous. So many people came out of poverty. Isn't that great? Yes. At the same time, the oceans are poisoned. Nature is being murdered. The air is being poisoned. We as humans have done an enormous amount of damage to the earth in so many different ways. So what's your plan? You want to save the earth? Are we going to do something about saving the earth? Do you feel responsible for all these species dying? Some people believe they're not dying, and that's a hoax. Some people believe climate change is a hoax. I can understand all those perspectives. I believe in some of them as well.
That's the biggest problem. You don't know what's real anymore.
Exactly. So one of the solutions that was presented as a perspective, and I was like, okay, I can understand where the perspective comes from, is that it's the fact that people want things that's the problem. That we want cars, we want villas, we want all of these things to experience. Everybody wants them.
Yeah.
Therefore, we don't like, if we're going to build it for everybody, then, we're just going to have to rape and pillage the earth more to get it to that point. In this future world, everybody will be able to experience whatever they want, and they'll be able to have the hallucination of whatever they want. If they want it in the real world, they're going to have to add value to society.
But that's the thing. Adding value is a very subjective term.
So let me break it down.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to improve one person's life. Okay? Figure out a way to improve somebody's life so much that they pull out this thing called money and give it to you, which they earned by going somewhere else and improving somebody else's life. Right? Figure out a way to improve somebody's life so much that they pay you money. Step number 2, figure out a way to do it for more and more people. That's what work is. That's what business is. That's what Bezos did. He spent his whole life figuring out how to add so much value to people's lives that people are like, we will pay you to do that. Then he did it for billions of people. And now he's a billionaire. Right?
Yeah, but that's not what most businesses are doing.
That's the problem.
Yes.
The idea of value has been removed from it.
Exactly.
I go even one step below. I go, it's not just value, it's love. Figure out a way to show love to somebody.
Yeah.
Love somebody. Really love somebody so much. Serve them. Love them. Take care of them in a way that allows them to feel so, it improves their life so much from your love that they want to love you back. And they're like, look, here's how I can show some love. Here's some like dollars or whatever.
With total hippie sim. I like that.
Total hippie sim. This is where I'm headed. This is where I'm like, after 2030, you're going to see me with long hair. But this is the idea. The world was built on love. Bali here, what does it teach you? Love, bro.
Yeah.
They don't need money. Many of the villages, not they don't need money. Everybody needs money, okay? You ask people here about money, they're like, yeah, we want to earn money, Mr. Rich guy walking around. You think we don't want the prosperity? But the base concept is love. It's exchange of love. Figure out a way to love somebody genuinely so well that they want to give love back in the form of money.
I feel that's harder to do, mostly because people get so disconnected from their feelings. And people they buy so many things, and they're so anxious that when you even show them love, they don't believe you. They're like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to scam me? What are you talking about?
Exactly.
So that's a problem, because
Exactly.
we're getting disconnected so much
Exactly.
with having so much. We're like, because the perception is, I'm going to be loved if I have a car, you have this, that, and then you don't get love, and then you stop believing in love. Well,
Exactly. So then how about this? Start with the one person who doesn't believe that. You. Right? You trust you. You believe in your head that you don't scam you, although you're scamming yourself constantly. You're actually the only person who scams yourself. You're the only person who loses all your money. You're the only person keeping you where you are. There's nobody else, okay? That's the truth. But start with that guy. I had to start with Sim. I had to start loving Sim.
Yeah.
I had to start understanding Sim, little Sim, teenage Sim, Mudhouse Sim.
Yeah.
I had to start loving Sim Khela from India. I had to start loving Sherry, the little child. I had to start loving Samron, the Mexican haircut kid from California. I had to start loving
Samron? What's
Samron. Yeah, that's a whole different
that's
story.
That's your other
We'll go into it
nickname.
sometime.
Okay.
I had to start loving Sam, the good little kid who went to Lutheran Christian school and used to be a chaperone. And then I had to start loving Sim, the psycho who spent his entire life working to escape the Matrix. And then I got to loving the Sim that I am today, the man who I respect and love and care for in this way. That then allowed me to start showing this love externally and this presence of understanding around what this whole scam is. The scam is we forgot it's love. So you want to escape the Matrix? You have the one secret weapon that can't be taken from you, love. Figure out a way of adding love and loving somebody in such a way that they want to show you love back in the form of money. Make it something you love to do.
Yeah.
Right? We know this. The people who make it are the ones who just love the act of doing whatever they need to do.
100%.
Right? If I didn't love brutalizing myself day in and day out, no weekends, no birthdays, no Netflix, no beer with friends, no fucking girls, no nothing. Just wake up, work, and then work on my craft, learn my skills for 15 years straight, sitting in a corner by myself, no family, no nothing. I loved it because I was like, I know this is how I get to my mission. I love my mission so much, right? So just figure out something you love to do and start doing it for people. And so this is a big mistake that a lot of people make. They then start thinking from a place of, okay, what can I do for somebody that they're going to pay me money for? And that's not bad. But
yes, at least you don't think, what do I need to do to make money? You think, what can I do for somebody?
For somebody.
Yeah.
What can I do for somebody that's so valuable that they want to pay me money?
So one step.
In the traditional way of thinking about it, you're still in the right direction.
Yeah.
Then just start doing it without asking for the money.
Yeah.
And now, if you're watching this, you're like, yeah, it's easy for you guys to say sitting in Bali. I'm over here loving and giving and loving and giving, and I'm depleted, and I've been doing it for years, and I ain't got nothing back for it. You're right. We've been there too. When I say 15 years, 13 of those years I got nothing back. I just was giving and adding and adding and adding and adding. But in those last 2 years, it came back. You know what came back? $1,000 a month. But $1,000 a month plus my time back. No more job plus $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Just enough for me to live plus $1,000 a month. Obviously, I couldn't survive in Canada. So I was like, I'm just going to move to Bali and keep the $1,000 a month. Then it went down to $500 a month. But I was in Bali. I could make do in $500 a month.
Yeah.
And from the $500 a month, the rocket ship took off. But after 15 years of it, Sharon, my partner, she just came and she was like, I almost lost hope. I'm 30 now. I spent my whole life giving and wholeheartedly giving when I didn't even have that much. Sometimes I would give and realize, why are you even giving? You don't even have it. And she's like, I would give and then give and give and nothing would come back. It's like the Tony Robbins story when he had $25 in his pocket.
It's a beautiful story.
Walks into a place, sees a kid taking his mom out for dinner, is so moved by it that he gives the kid $25 knowing, I have no money now for food. And the very next day, a guy who hadn't paid him back for years pays him back the $1,200 that he was owed. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't believe in that kind of stuff. I believe that you when you keep giving and keep giving and keep giving, and right when you get to the point of like not having anything, you're about to break and you're about to lose faith, that's the moment you're being tested. So if you're in that point, know that on the other side of that struggle is everything.
I had I had like 2 weeks when around me was drama. Everybody was fighting in each other, and I was not participant, but everybody was like, like everywhere I come, people start like either fighting or screaming, and I'm like, what's the life trying to tell me? You can say, well, it just, and then I'm like, I'm not good at being present when people expressing their emotions.
Yep.
And that gives me a lot of it. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's trying to tell me that I need to start being comfortable with that.
Yeah.
But it's about awareness. So why is that figuring happening to me? And maybe I'm making it up. Maybe it's not real. But for me, that taught me a lesson, and I was able to get better at handling drama.
For me, 100%. And for me, it just works. I don't care if it's true or not.
Yeah.
It just works.
Because reality is perceived. It's whatever you see in your head. So it's better to load yourself with a good logical connections where you can learn from it. So just saying, it just happens to me. Like it's
my framework of mind is like, everything that happens to me is my fault. Everything. If somebody comes and punches me in the face for no reason, I get hit by a car randomly, it's my fault. Now, you may go, yeah, but like, Sim, if you're a girl and you get raped, is it your fault? Absolutely not. But the mindset of me always taking responsibility for what happens to me gives me the power. When things are happening to me that are bad, one, I say thank you, because I believe that the infinite universe and the source is always guiding you the right way, especially when the bad shit happens. So thank you. Secondly, it's my fault. And if you're like, I don't like this idea that you keep saying it's my fault, listen to Tom Bilyeu. He explains it really well. People hate him when he says that it's your fault. Okay, let's say it like this. It's your responsibility to deal with it.
Yeah.
Whatever's happening is not happening to you. It's the result of your actions that you've taken before and they got you to a certain point, so that situation happened, right? Like people are fighting around you. Well, you made the decision to be somewhere where the
Yes.
people are fighting around you.
Yes.
Okay, then, you can make a different decision as long as you believe that you control it.
Yeah.
Or, at the least it's your responsibility to deal with it.
Yep.
Right? So so in simple terms, what are you going to do? Enough talk, enough chatter, enough listening to people, great inspiration, motive. What are you doing?
Yeah.
TikTok, we got 3 years left. I don't know when it happens within the next 3 years. We got 3 years left. What are you doing today to figure out ways to add value to people's lives in a way that they want to love you back? What are you doing today to protect yourself from this scam that's playing out right in front of you? What are you learning and actually taking actionable steps on? Because the world is changing around you, because if you're not changing it, the people who understand this game are changing it.
Yeah.
Now,
You can get left out or not. It's your choice.
Now, here's some things going on around you right now. Insiders from companies are dumping their stocks. For the first time in history, some of the largest holders of stocks are dumping their own stock. Jeff Bezos is dumping Amazon stock. Mark Zuckerberg is dumping Meta stock. Ralph Lauren is dumping Ralph Lauren stock. The Walmart family is dumping Walmart stock. And you're like, yeah, but isn't that what they do? They like buy stock and sell stock? No. What they normally do is they actually take their stock to a bank, and then the bank gives them a loan against it, so they don't pay any tax on it because they know the stocks are just going to keep going up in value. These guys are actually dumping their stocks. They're selling the stocks and paying whatever tax they need to pay. And they're publicly showing that they're selling the stocks. CEOs, CMOs, whatever O's, the heads of companies are running from the markets and they're selling all their shit. And Mark Zuckerberg just built a $117 million compound where he's feeding his cows beer, while you shouldn't eat meat, apparently. Okay, so that's what they're doing. They're preparing for something. He's building a bunker, right? It's the end times. It's the end zone of this world that we've lived in. It's the beginning of the new world. It's the final chance for you to actually learn how to escape this matrix. And just to reiterate, if you didn't hear what I said earlier, step number 1, stop being terrified of AI. It is God-level intelligence that's being handed to you. Every single person who's terrified of AI, as soon as I taught them how to use ChatGPT, they fell in love with it. So stop being scared of AI, okay? Just open the website. First, just open the website YouTube and type in how to use ChatGPT to escape the matrix. I'm just kidding. How to use ChatGPT. Watch a few YouTube videos. Then get over your phobia and go open the website and start using it to teach you how to escape the matrix. You can literally ask it, how do I escape the matrix? You're living in the matrix. The escape is you have the intelligence that can guide you through everything. Is it going to tell you the truth about everything? No, but there is no truth about everything. Okay? Don't worry about that. Get it to give you actionable steps on exactly what to do to achieve whatever you need to achieve. If something doesn't make sense, go give me a more detailed breakdown of that step. Okay? And then use it to figure out ways to add value to people's lives. In the link of this video, there is a course that you can take that we talked about. Click that link, watch the video I'm presenting there. Under that video, there's going to be a link for a document to fill out. Fill out that document for yourself. Learn the game of crypto. Do not buy it right now. At least that's what I'm doing. I'm not buying it right now. You do whatever you like. Learn how to play this game. And between now and end of 2025, there is so much money that people are going to make in this space. It's going to be way beyond 2020 and all that stuff. But only the people who have a plan are going to do it. Okay? I don't even have the space to work with people anymore. I work with 10 people a month, and I'm at capacity. So don't call me, call this guy. Okay? Help yourself, build your plan, learn about the space, figure out a way to escape the matrix, and we're just going to keep doing this until one day you will click YouTube and it will not open.
Beautiful. That's a good way to end. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your wisdom. And for everybody watching, go check out what he said and subscribe. We're going to get more amazing things coming your way. Bye-bye.